local community, whatever. It's founded on 3 or 4 different things. Okay. First thing we do is create a cop shop. Like that's what all these outpost communities do. They create a cop shop, then they create a church, okay, a post office, and then a cricket pitch. All right, that's what we did, and that's how we founded our nation. And then, so what these sports activities allow us to do is create community and tribalism, pitching our community against the neighbours. So sports are great to participate in, but they're no good to fucking worship. If you're not promoting your kids to participate in sports, then I think you should reconsider because it's fucking really important. It's great for building your own character in communities. Sorry, mate. All right, I gotta go, guys. Bye.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with sports. I mean, I played hockey for the U.S. national team. I think it's great for kids to be active in America. It keeps them away from a lot of bullshit. But when it consumes your entire life, and that's your entire life, that's just, you're pretty much just screwed, right?
I'm an athlete myself, and it's different, I think, playing versus watching. I think the culture of watching is a subtle, massive gnosis into lulling us into passivity in other areas where fighting becomes necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I watch some sports every once in a while. On weekends when we go out with family, you go out to the restaurant, sports are on, you hang out, and that's fine. But when these people make it their entire life to do this kind of stuff is absolute just full-blown degeneracy. It's like anything else. It's just an addiction that consumes your entire life.
Yeah, I had the most insane statistic earlier that I wanted to share. So last year, if I have this correct, black women sexually assaulted white women, and this is in the US, 20,000 incidents. And the white men sexually assaulted black women. You're just not going to believe this number. Zero. I mean, that is absolute insanity. I mean, I hope I have those stats right, and maybe you want to double check them or whatever. But if I heard what I thought I heard, I mean, this is just absolute madness. And what we're talking about here, we're not talking about like racial differences, right? Because I know this is a sort of a favorite topic, or a topic that is talked about in these spaces. Why? There are differences between races, of course, but sometimes we have to be really careful. Like, perfectly legitimate conversations we might be having might be masking a deeper truth. So yes, there are race differences, absolutely, but there's actually, when you're looking at stats where it's 20,000 versus 0, this goes beyond racial differences. I mean, we're talking about white people being hunted. That's what we're talking. This is open season, right? When the disparity is that great, and this Irina thing, I know this, it was a spectacular incident, but white people are being hunted, and I'm not saying this to blackpill or sort of dramatize or demoralize. I'm inviting everyone to sort of wake up and appreciate the magnitude of the problem, so we can mobilize.
It's the fact of the matter.
Sorry, buddy, go ahead. What was that?
He said it's a fact. It's just a fact.
Yeah, that's the fact of the matter.
Yeah, right. It's just reality. And I think one of the things that got us here was white complacency. And, we can get into that in another discussion. But, I mean, the best thing to do with the problem is to sort of fully grasp the extent of it and mobilize and react. And I don't think we should be complacent. I think we should take these things very, very seriously and get active. Let's get mobilized. Let's solve this. Let's address it. Let's counter it. Let's turn it around. Let's come up with great strategies.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I 100% agree with you, and that's the thing. Like in Britain, you have these cases, in all of Europe as well, where they're just allowing these people to come in and rape the women and children, and they're giving them like 180 days community service. But if you, as a white person, stand up and say this is unacceptable, what the hell is this? They'll throw you in prison for 2 years. So it's done and facilitated by design, and it's something that has to, people have to stand up and say enough is enough. And I've made this point a bunch of times that the Civil Rights Act in America was just a license to kill white people. That's all the Civil Rights Act was. It was designed to erase white people and have white people killed off. And they cry about the KKK. Okay, fine, let's look at the KKK. What did they do? The KKK, the amount of people the KKK killed in its entirety of its existence, black people kill more black people in 1 year than the KKK killed of all time. And that's a fact. So when you start looking at this kind of stuff and you start looking at the actual details, and then you have these blacks running around killing white people, and they're getting a slap on the wrist like those kids down in Texas, they killed that high school kid. And the one kid got 6 months in jail for it. That's it, for killing another student. This is the kind of shit that's going on, and people have had enough. And you have the DOJ of the United States of America supporting them and backing them up. They have a CRS where they go in and they get the family to immediately say, oh, I forgive the murderer, like the Austin Met case, and then they'll turn around and the judge will say, well, the family already forgave them, so we'll just give them, the minimum sentence of 5 years, and they'll be out within 3 years on good behavior or whatever for murder. And this is institutionalized at this point, and it's the DOJ, the Department of Justice, doing this because they have the Civil Rights Act. And who's in charge of the Civil Rights Act now? Who's in charge of the civil rights at the DOJ? It's Harmeet Dillon. She wasn't even born in America. She was born in India. What the hell does she have to do with civil rights? Like zero. But they're putting these types of people in charge, and Trump is doing this. This is crazy, right? And even the black community is saying, what the fuck? Why are you putting a foreign-born Indian in charge of civil rights when the civil rights was designed for black people? It wasn't designed for Indians. That's the whole problem. And that this is where we're getting all this crazy nonsense. But Carmine, you came up, you had your hand up, go ahead.
Thank you, Ethnic American. That word crazy, we got to put it in quotation marks. This might sound hard to believe, but it's yet again another example of the entertainment industry somehow having either a magic crystal ball or script writing privilege for these events like Charlie Kirk. In 1998, 27 years ago, a movie starring Nicolas Cage was released called Snake Eyes. I put it in the purple pill. Hard to believe, but it's true. It features a character named Charles Kirkland, gets shot in the neck by someone named Tyler, a boxer named Tyler the assassin. It is really, that's just the beginning of it. Really, 27 years ago. So, the people that are making these films, I don't think they're Hindus or Indians. That's Bollywood. This is Hollywood. And there's only one creature that's responsible for these kinds of miraculous predictions, let alone The Simpsons. Anyhow, thanks, Ethnic American. I had to share that one. Check it in the purple pill. See for yourselves. It's impossible for this to be a fluke. It is definitely foreknowledge, if not actual orchestration of the event. Thank you, Ethnic American. Thank you for everybody for the time.
Yeah, there's all kinds of these types of things that happen all the time. The Twin Towers was another one. How many times did they put that in cartoons and The Simpsons and all the other madness? They always seem to find their way into some form of entertainment via Hollywood, and then it happens in real life. 9/11 was even more crazy because Bibi had written about it in his book in 1996. And you had even Trump in Trump's book in 2000 also mentioned Osama bin Laden by name. So it's who are the two guys in power right now? You got Trump and Bibi in power right now. And they both basically had some writings on Osama bin Laden, which is really strange. But John, go back, jump in there, and then we'll go to Let Me Be Frank.
Yeah, I just wanted to continue what I was saying about that shocking statistic of 20,000 black men assaulting white women, and then 0 white men assaulting black women. So according to one estimate, 500,000 white British women have been raped by Muslims in the UK. We know now, right, that our women are getting sexually assaulted, that white people are getting murdered or assaulted. Derek Chauvin, right? He's spending 30 years in prison for what? He didn't do anything. George Floyd was a violent junkie, career criminal who abandoned his own kid and was committing a crime and died of a fentanyl overdose. And this is a white guy. Why is he in prison? It's because he's white. So we're seeing white people getting locked up. We're seeing them getting killed. We're seeing white women get raped. And, all this talk about, when it goes down, we've got, a lot of military training, and, they can't, they don't know how to fight, and we know how to fight. Yeah, I don't disagree, but isn't that missing the point? How many more white people are we willing to have raped or assaulted or lose their jobs because they're white? Before we stop it, why does it have to go to that? What are we waiting for? Are we just going to let more white people get assaulted and killed and raped? Because we know, down the line, whenever it comes, that, that we would have a massive advantage in that situation. Why would we let this go on for another minute? Why have we let it go on this far? So, I guess, what I'm trying to say is, we've tolerated this long enough, and I don't think we should tolerate it any further. And the solution is political. If things become untenable at some point down the line, if that happens, it happens. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows what's going to happen and when. But we know that we're here today, and we have a political system, and we have social media accounts, and we know we have family and friends, and we can take peaceful, political, legal action today and make a difference and start curbing this. Because I think that attitude of, it's all going to work out in the end, I think we're better than that. I really do. And I think we're all ready, or most of us are. I think we're ready to draw a line now. So I would just encourage everyone to think positive, and just let's discover our collective agency, take political power, and get our hands on the levers of power, and start correcting this, because it's long overdue.
In case General stepped away. Good point, John. You want to, I think, what was it? DEI was next.
Yeah, I was going to just throw in, I think a way to bring some focus on this internationally is for the people that are being persecuted for their freedom of speech. I really believe with our executive that we have, that he's been pushing on that. Our vice president's been pushing on that. I think that if there are citizens of these countries that their civil rights are being infringed upon, like freedom of speech, just simple things like if you say something like, migration's out of hand in London, you get arrested for that, you need to come with that paperwork the day you get out of jail. Go to the USA consulate, go there and show them exactly what happened to you and ask for asylum immediately. And you'll be granted it. You will be granted it. And you need to bring eyes to this, because this is no different. This is like being taken over by communists. When I see them taking chainsaws to your doors to get inside your houses, that's insane, man. It's crazy. And I feel so bad for you. I mean, I really do. But I think that would really bring eyes on it. And I don't think very many Americans would have an issue with it.
You need to, I don't want to make this too complicated, but you need to create a conflict for yourself if you are European. You need to be, if you want to come here. I think that's a great idea, by the way. I didn't even thought of that, but the South Africans came here through the refugee program and everyone was celebrating. I want more English people. I want more German people. And Vance, after the election, came over to Germany and was like, hey, you guys don't have rights right now, by the way. They've been saying it the whole time. So that's a good plan. Like, make a comment on Facebook, get in trouble, then come over here and claim persecution. That's not legal advice.
Yeah, I like the idea of that too. Although, of course, we ultimately want those countries to remain their own ethnicity, and to do that, it takes their people. So we don't want mass numbers of them as refugees, even though that would be a perfectly legitimate case, and even though they would definitely contribute to us. The point is they have their own fight, but I think that's a great strategy, and I think even if it happened once or twice and there was enough coverage on it, it could make a big difference. Frank's next, by the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm just like thinking about a lot of different stuff. The clergy plan is real. They flood us with enough different people that don't have critical thinking capabilities. No methodology when they actually set out to do something, and then if they become violent, they're going to be extremely unpredictable. This is a problem. I've been around black people my whole life, and for the most part, I can't stand any of them. I think it's on a DNA epigenetic difference at this point, because I was sometimes lambasted for working too hard or doing something a little too early, by my peers that were all people. Some of them I grew up with that were black, Islanders.
Well, they aren't your peers.
Well, yeah, I mean, to use a loose term. And then when the general said, these are facts about, the lynchings of the KKK being less than how many blacks kill of each other in a year, yeah, those are our facts, but you can't impart those facts, even with significant, legitimized, creditable, accredited evidence to blacks, because they've just been hijacked their whole life. I don't know. Thomas Sowell, the black Thomas Sowell, he was a leftist his whole life, but then he's actually very intelligent. He saw the error in his thinking, but he's an anomaly. So a lot of these blacks, they don't have that capability. And so sometimes I go into cultivating space, and she has a pretty eclectic group usually, and I'll chime in and I'll try to make some points, and it just doesn't fucking matter. These people don't want to hear it. And it's unfortunate, because they tend to reinforce it within themselves, and it's become like a mental block where they will never get out of it. So yeah, we're living in some really wild times right now, man. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Well, I mean, even look at guys like FBA Trey. As crazy as that guy's smart, he's not an idiot. He's one of the smart ones. Like the guy is definitely not an idiot. We deal with him a bunch, but look at his positions. Look what he holds. Look at the way he views everything, and he's the smart one. So this is the problem. This is the problem. Yeah, John, go ahead.
Yeah, I just, just wanted to sort of point out to people that, this kind of anti-white, alliance or amalgam that we have of political enemies. I mean, it's a global operation. You've got the CCP sending fentanyl to the Mexicans, and then and the drug cartels, and they're kind of shipping it in, transporting into the United States. So they're kind of working together to make money. You've got these NGOs that are kind of government funded, and they're kind of like an extension of the government, but technically they're not. And then they're gathering and rounding up these migrants, and then they're literally transporting them into the West. And then you've got the whole foreign aid racket, and then the Clinton Foundation, and you start looking at the scale and scope of this racket that we're fighting. Is basically like a RICO thing. It's like a massive organized crime organization. And then you have Big Pharma, right, with their untested vaccines. And then we're locked in our homes. And this was global in scope. I mean, but it hit the English-speaking countries very hard. I mean, you saw the videos of what's going on in Australia, which was just shocking. And, we know what it was like over here. So, you've got the Big Pharma thing and the COVID thing and, World Health Organization. This is a global criminal enterprise, and they're making money. It's a business, dismantling the United States and Western civilization, and it just there are so many interconnected facets of this machine that we're fighting. And of course the Jews, and we all know about that, and I would never sort. Obviously, massive component. You have the Muslims pushing. Then you've got like the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons. I mean, I know someone who's been in politics, very, very long time, and he said, I remember in the 70s that Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they would go up to a corporation or a business and say, well, give us $100,000. Otherwise, we're going to pick it outside your company and with signs and bullhorns and tell everyone you're racist. It's literally just a criminal enterprise. It's just extortion. But this is all trading on this, this white genocide military-industrial complex that is kind of all-encompassing. And, there's a lot of money in it as well. So, we've got to, I think we have to unravel the whole thing. The whole thing's got to go. Obviously, Jews are a huge part of it, but, as General said, the Mexicans are becoming a bigger and bigger problem. Now the Indians. So we've really got to go and meet the battle where it is. We've got to fight everyone, and we can do it. We can take on the whole world. We're strong enough. We can do it. But we have to mobilize and work together and be united. And if we come together, we use our white ingenuity, and we access all our character that we have, we can absolutely do it. So it's just a matter of political will. People ask me all the time, "No, do you think we're, how's this going to work out? Are we just gonna crumble and die, or are we going to prevail?" And it's down to political will, right? How much do we want it? And I think, honestly, the reason why everyone's in this space is because they want it. And I think there's a lot of white people out there, probably the vast majority, who want it. Maybe that flame hasn't been ignited yet, but I think it's in the vast majority of white people. So all we got to do is just activate and ignite everyone, and we can do this.
Was it DEI who was next, or Case?
Sure.
Go ahead.
DEI, go ahead, and then I'm going to shut it down and start the morning show.
All right, I can hold it. Go ahead. Yeah, I can wait. I'll just jump to the other space. I'm good, General. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I wanted to make a quick point. Let me be frank, brought this up. These other races aren't capable of like deeper intellectual, like self-reflection and like empathy, even, right? And then if you grok instance of genius by race, right? So we can predict the instance of genius, which is defined as 140 IQ or higher. You get some pretty interesting results. White men, 1 in 31,000 geniuses. Black men, 1 in 3 million. Right? It's 100 times rarer to get a black genius. We have a couple black geniuses. Thomas Sowell, that black guy in the Supreme Court. If these guys were born in Africa, though, they suffer from jealousy, these people, because they're intellectually weak, they have low IQ. They'll cannibalize any geniuses that appear amongst them. East Asians are 1 in 3,000 genius, but they only represent 3% of Nobel laureates. So, and you notice this when you interact with the East Asians, they seem to lack a creative spark or something that you find in the Europeans. They're the great refiners. They're good at precision. I don't know how to describe it. They have bigger brains. They have higher IQ, but they don't invent helicopters. They don't invent rockets. They build them really well. They can design manufacturing. And I'm just going to land it there, but something to think about.
Yeah, no, General's about to shut down, so I'll say this last point on my part as far as the blacks go. Every conversation should, and I will repeat this over and over again, but we need to start shifting the conversation towards acknowledging that these people are different for many, many reasons. There's a genetic element that's inescapable and inextricable. They are not compatible with our society. They're not compatible with our civilization. We've tried it for hundreds of years. We've given them so much. We've given them millions of dollars, all sorts of programs for decades since the civil rights movement, which is basically a pity movement. We take pity on them and try to give them advantages. And these advantages are not working for them, and they're not working for us. They're incompatible, and it's time for them to go back. Remigration needs to be on the table, and there's all sorts of ways we can do it in a very humane way, including giving them as much money, as much infrastructure, as much jobs, housing as they need over there. A lot of them would take that because they're basically dependent on us right now. We give them foreign aid within our own country. And
Alright, looks like General shut down that overnight space, and he should be firing up the morning show. It's called the Ethnic American Broadcast. An Ethnic American, if you don't know what it is, you can go to ethnicamerican.org, and it's a project that General started about a year ago, to try to help white people take back their identity. We're the only people on the planet that are not allowed to be proud of their heritage, and so that's what the whole Ethnic American Project is about, is taking back pride in our heritage. It is not about hate of other races. That is not it. It is not about supremacy and a desire to overtake the world or overthrow everything. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It is just simply being able to take pride in our heritage and our race, and just like everybody else, Mexicans are allowed to be proud of being Mexican, Chinese are allowed to be proud of being Chinese, and so on and so forth, unless you're white. And then if you say white pride, everybody freaks the hell out and thinks you're trying to kill everybody. But that is not what it is. It is just about being proud of your heritage. Anyway, let's jump in here. And this broadcast is specifically tailored for ethnic Americans. It's every day from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And it's just ethnic Americans hanging out and talking about the news of the day. There's some really good subject matter experts that come in here and update us on various topics, and other than that, it's just Rush in general, kind of running down the day's news, and various contributors kind of chatting it up. So nothing too crazy, nothing too special. All right, let's jump in.
Bronson, good morning. American Patriot Lady, good morning. Green Duck Revolution, good morning. Decoy, Jonesy. Peter, good morning, guys. Alright, let's see if we get rushed up here.
It takes a couple minutes to get everybody up.
I don't know, every single morning we have the same problem.
And
usually takes them 3 times. 3rd time's a charm.
The spaces are ran by H-1B employees, so they're kind of glitchy. So it takes Rush usually a couple times to try to get.
Frankie, good morning.
As co-host.
We got Toe Cutter.
A lot of times the host can't see hands and crap, so you gotta have a co-host.
Susie Q, good morning, guys. Rush, I threw you an invite to speak and co-host. Hopefully you can come right in on that.
Part's kind of boring.
Yeah, that actually did work.
We'll get to the
And this GDAP crashes out constantly. It's horrible.
Well, good to see you this morning. What have you seen on the news cycle?
Really happy to see how receptive everyone is to that Florida law that passed, and how big your post blew up yesterday. That's pretty awesome to see. I mean, hopefully that can get national traction, and we can get a national pedophile murder or pedophile execution laws on books for the entire nation. It would be really, to me, it would push our nation in a good way. We have to protect the children of our society. But it's funny yesterday that Ed Krakestein made a post on here and said another white man is shooting up a ICE facility today or something. And I'm like, oh man, this is there's going to be a domestic terror attack. They're going to blame it on, the conservatives, and and then quickly, they try to, that you can easily debunk their narrative. It was a Antifa weirdo decided to start shooting at ICE officials outside of an ICE facility. Killed one and wounded another, and then killed himself. It's crazy how much of this we're seeing ramping up, though. If they're false flags or not, I mean, they really are justifying Trump, really declaring Antifa a terrorist organization and cracking down on Antifa in this country.
Yeah, I wonder if that guy used part of Ed's $5,000 donation to Antifa to purchase his ammo. Yeah, John, go ahead, jump in there.
Yeah, Rush, something you just said about, whenever there's a shooting now or a similar kind of crime, the media just openly try and implicate white people And I think what's kind of slightly shocking about that, although we should be used to it by now, is just how flagrant it is, right? How blatant. I mean, they're not even sort of trying to hide it, right? They're literally trying to do everything they can to pin it on white people. And yeah, it's just kind of shocking. I mean, it's not like they're even sort of using innuendo or lies of omission. They're literally just like, okay, how can we pin this on a white person? And, you know, they're not even really concerned at all about trying to hide that that's what they're doing. I mean, they're just openly trying to demonize white people. And there's just the mask is just completely off. So, I mean, I guess this is all part of the white genocide program, where we're at the point now where, you know, the media just see white people as fair game. I mean, do you kind of see that shift in recent years, Rush? Like the media just really just going for it now. They're not even trying to pretend to be impartial, right? I think Rush got bounced, I think. But in general, have you kind of seen that over the past few years or months or whatever? You're just seeing that the media just aren't even trying to pretend that they're, you know, propagandizing.
Yeah, no, they're open about it. I mean, they're open about being racist. They're open about calling black people stupid. They're so open. I mean, can you imagine leftist teachers running out in the street screaming math is racist, and then passing a law saying that reading, writing, and math are harmful to students of color, so we're going to remove it? That's what they're doing. I mean, they're going all in at every single level. They're demonizing white people to no end.
General. I mean, to me though, it's not something that's been recent. I think this is ever since 1965 and CRS. You know, we've been being told for the past 20 years that white people are the most dangerous domestic terrorists. Every time there's any murder of a white person, they put it of a white perpetrator. They put it on court TV. They make a spectacle of it. And they make it mainstream news. When statistically, you know, black people commit 51% of the murder, despite only being 13% of the population, and you know, white people commit 49% of the murder, and that's including Hispanic, Arabs, every other demographic that's lumped into white are all thrown into that to skew those demographics, and even then, they can't commit as many murders as. You know, 78% of the population can't commit as many murders as 8%. 13% of the population. I mean, it's mind blowing that so many people are obtuse to that. They don't see that. They really honestly think that white people are the most dangerous demographic in this country, even though a white male commits murder at a less rate than a black female does, which is, you know, typically not seen. But yeah, John, jump back in there.
Yeah, I heard a stat earlier. I don't know if you've heard it, but we were talking about it earlier. So the number of white women sexually assaulted by black men is 20,000 incidents. I think this was last calendar year. And the number of sexual assaults by white men on black women was zero. And I think that's correct. Maybe someone might want to verify that. But I mean, that's an insane statistic, right?
Yeah, I mean, interracial murder is exactly the same thing. I mean, it's almost double, but yeah, the rape statistic is insane. It's brainwashed on a culture to accept that, and a lot of people are really waking up. I don't know if anyone's seen the video of the MAGA kids, MAGA guys, they're at an HSBU. I think they're at Tennessee State University, and they were gonna do one of the Charlie Kirk style ask questions, and they had two question prompts. One was about immigration, and the other one was about DEI. And the black kids on the campus immediately, went up to them and started, ripping down their signs, stealing their cameras. They stole one of their cameras. They took the sign that had DEI written on it, and then scribbled BLM over it. Just yelling and accosting these guys, and then ran them off campus, like with police there. They're like, brandishing like screwdrivers and knives and threatening them, and basically made them leave the campus. That guy actually was in one of those FBA spaces yesterday. It was pretty funny, and he's just a MAGA normie. I don't see race, I was trying to appease to these black guys, and it's just hilarious to hear the contrast. That they see it as a normal reaction. If you ask them about DEI, well, yeah, of course I can beat the shit out of you. You asked me to move out of my seat in the bleachers at a high school track meet. Of course I can stand up and stab you in the chest. And this is us experimenting with multiculturalism for 250 years in America, and it has not been successful. If anything, after the Obama administration and him, Trayvon Martin's my son, and really pushing it, America is proving that multiculturalism is not a success more than ever, in my opinion. It's crazy how quickly that contrast is happening. But lots of people are realizing that. I think that guy was realizing that. No matter how much he placated to him, tried to pander, I'm not a racist. He kept getting the response of you get what you get, white boy. It's pretty funny.
No one will wake you up faster than the FBAs will. They'll get your ass turned. Or like Frank down there, he's married to a black woman. I'm sure that woke his ass up.
It helped me a lot. I still had that, brainwash thing in me, and coming into your space really helped me in general. Because it's not a position of I don't like these people, it's a position of I love my people. I want my people to exist. I want my people to have a homeland. And I want my kids to grow up in the same environment I grew up in, and I don't want my great grandchildren ethnically genocided from this land like we've seen in Haiti and Rwanda, and we're seeing in South Africa right now. You have to be realistic with the world, human nature, and history, and a lot of Americans aren't, because sadly a lot of Americans aren't very traveled and never left America. But yeah, Frank, please jump in there, bud.
Yeah, I was in a space yesterday, pretty diverse, eclectic space, but the more melanated people were constantly just going off about, they were constantly on about like inbreeding and how much incest there is with the whites, and he mentioned this one family that was in I forget, I think Kentucky, but it was a video that this guy does the soft white underbelly videos. If you haven't seen them, they're really good. He does a lot of wild interviews with like homeless people, and he found this one family that was inbred. It's a pretty interesting video, but he brought up that video, and I'm like, yeah, that's like one in how many? Like I've traveled through Appalachia. It's really not what you think, you know. But then when you try to like explain that however many instances there may be with child, you know, sexual abuse or what have you, you know, certain demographics are going to obviously report more than other demographics, and I can make a pretty good guess of the ones who don't, because I've been around it my whole life and I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, they have their talking points because they've been brainwashed by the media. They see all these cases of Jewish people getting caught with child porn and running back to Israel, and they just you know, automatically assume, you know, that's a white person thing. But if you look at the statistics, and I know it's very hard for them to understand, but black people commit around like 28% of you know, child abuse, and that's being 13% of the population. I know it's hard for them to understand, but that's double their per capita representation, and yeah, that's a lot of child abuse. But I mean, that's the thing is it takes an uninformed look at it. I mean, Frank, you've listened to those FBA spaces. I mean, it's like this weird, you know, supremacy thing that they try to push, but it's completely based on no facts. It's pretty funny. You know, there really is no changing those people's minds. It's the retarded. Can change their mind. They're going to be able to make. You know, we have to wake up. We have to understand who we are as a people, and that our suicidal empathy is going to be what kills us if we don't get it in check.
And just to jump in real quick, that's the most concerning part, is that none of them can actually say, well, let me look this up, you know, where did you get source? Oh, okay, great. Let me look that up, you know, and take an outside view, because they're just so ingrained into their cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. I mean, but to me, it is good. I mean, like General said, no one will wake you up faster than listening to that. But Twiddle, good morning, buddy. Jump on.
Good morning, everybody. Russ, Frank, everybody up here and down below. We were touching on CRS briefly, and I kind of wanted to give you guys the funny things that I found out recently about CRS and how far their narrative control goes. So you guys remember that term, mostly peaceful protest? That came from the CRS. 100%. I found it. That was during the Ferguson and Baltimore thing, and basically they went in and they just did their managing of the public perception. They worked with not only the NAACP, but they worked with outlets like CNN and all the local media stations. That's why you hear the parroting of the same exact thing all the time, like almost like verbatim, same exact thing. And then you see you just see how they're using the media way more and free, like completely free. It has nothing to do with their budget. All they have to do is bring their conciliation people, I forget what they call them, that these people to come over here and just monitor the situations, be there before things pop off, and basically control the entire narrative, control the backlash, control all of the, like, basically the community's whole resilience. It's crazy how this stuff works. The rumor control thing is an actual operation. It's Operation Rumor Control, and it started in the 1960s, just like we were talking about, and it's just expanded from there to a great degree. Like I was looking up some of this stuff, trying to tie it into like the list of NGOs and all these people that they've worked with is endless. I don't think we'll ever know where they go and what they do. But
you know what's the most frustrating part, right? Is our tax dollars are paying for it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, not only that, some of it's, in my opinion, worse. Is just because the media has such a grip on like what people think and say and their time, and if they're controlling that to the degree that I'm seeing, it's not only media. It's what your pastors will talk about in church. It's what the community will approve that gets done in your community. There's so many different things, and I'm just kind of still dumbfounded on the whole thing. But like, I have a whole list of things they've done, all the different phrases that throughout the years that they've used, everything from the '60s riots to Ferguson, and then what was the guy?
Trayvon Martin.
No, yeah, that was in Florida. That was the white kid in Minnesota. It wasn't Minnesota. It was just north of Chicago. Who shot the kid? Who shot the guy with the kid with the AR on his hip?
Oh, Kyle.
Yes, Kyle Rittenhouse. Sorry. It's very early, but yeah, this stuff is it's so deep, guys. The fact that you can't get FOIA requests, they all get stifled and slowed down. You'll never get anything. It's just crazy. No, I'll leave it there. Just know that they've been working with like the NAACP since its founding, since it first was enacted, and probably before it, because everything was there. It's pre-crime, and it's trying to manage things to not like get out of control. They call themselves federal peacemakers. So federal peacemakers. Yeah. So I'll leave it there. I'm sure there's some other hands up. I'm just was reading some of the things off of here. There is a lot of other news too. A lot of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, lots of great news. You got to drop a tidbit of news in there every time, Twiddle. That's how we get it in. And then we can go back and forth in topics. CRS is exactly how they've brainwashed our entire generation in multiple generations in the United States. And I mean, we were born into CRS and spent our entire lives being indoctrinated by CRS, pushing their skewed one way division. I mean, they're not showing up at George Floyd and trying to prevent those types of things. If anything, they're spinning up those narratives and trying to create the division. Which, I mean, if anything, it's really waking up a lot of Americans. I mean, because we have to come face to that fact. But Dubs, good morning, buddy. Good to see you jump in there.
Yeah, how you guys doing? I just wanted to know, did you guys hear the conspiracy about the Snake Eyes movie predicting Charlie Kirk?
I haven't. What is the Snake Eyes movie? Is that the one with Nicolas Cage?
You have to see this. Okay, so I saw this on TikTok and morning in the other space, but yeah, the guy's name was Charles Kirkland. It wasn't Charles Kirk, but yeah, go ahead. It's on September 10th, and there's a dude named Tyler who shoots him in the neck. Like, that can't be a coincidence.
I mean, I remember that movie. That's crazy that those are the aspects of it. And it looks like with that Charlie Kirk thing, we kind of have a consensus of how the assassination was pulled off now. It's the video General presented last week of the guy with the orange flannel type shirt standing directly in front of Charlie Kirk to his left. And he looks like he's holding something in his hand, and he squeezes his hand exactly before the shot goes off. And then someone tracks the guy jumping over the table and pulling something off the table and putting it in his back pocket. And then that guy with the flannel shirt walks around and hands something to that same exact guy. So people are all making the claims that those were the trigger men in the Charlie Kirk assassination, and it was an inside job. I mean, everyone said the internet would break it, but I mean, to me, it does It doesn't line with the bullet wounds. General, you also felt, there's going to be the gun tubers are going to be out there experimenting on this. I saw a gun tuber yesterday take a pig's neck, which is extremely similar to a human's neck, and at 150 yards, he shot it with a 30-06, and it completely disintegrated the entire neck. There's no way that was a 30-06.
What if it hit him in the? What if it hit him in the spine, though?
We don't have
if he would have got his head would have fallen off his body. This is what Rush is telling you.
General, when you talked about the superhuman bone thing, I thought that was like your anecdotal, commentary on that. I did not realize that the Coroner, Fox News, all these organizations are putting out this superhuman bone theory, and that's why the bullet didn't go through. And he saved lives. It was a miracle, and that's how they're brainwashing all these evangelicals to fall for this bull crap. They're like, "Oh, it is a miracle. Charlie Kirk's young man, strong bones were able to stop that 30-06 round," and it's retarded. It is so retarded. There's people that are falling for this narrative.
I mean, look at Charlie Kirk, guys. He wasn't exactly the athletic type, if you want to put it that way. He would be considered that he's somebody that you would call a skinny fat person. But yeah, Rush, it's ridiculous. Did you watch the one that I sent you? It was like 16 minutes long. I have it posted on my account, and I think that's what really happened. But I do think that there was more than one person involved. All those guys they arrested, they were all involved as well. They were all patsies, and that's why they jumped up saying, "I did it," when they know they didn't. Who thinks about that? The first second it happens, you think to say, "I did it." Like, come on. This is total retardation. But I don't know. I haven't been following. I saw the part of the Super Bone Bowl, but when I saw these YouTubers going out there and firing 30-06 and some of the other rounds at ballistic gel with a skull in it, the whole freaking head popped off. A 30-06. If he would have got hit with a 30-06, it wouldn't have mattered how strong his bones are. All his skin would have just exploded too. So it's just a retarded claim. What's your take on that, Rush?
Yeah, when I first saw the shooting and saw the bullet, I just automatically assumed it was 5.56 and 2.23, and it was almost believable that could have been the bullet hole for 2.23, and then but it was odd the way the blood shot out. How would that go in an entrance wound like that? You'd expect to see a shot of blood like that after an exit wound, and it just didn't make sense. And then hearing that the exit wound was in the top right of his neck, the entrance wound, the supposed exit wound was in the top right of his neck. I see that as the entrance wound. And then later they told us it's a 30-06. As soon as they said it was a 30-06, I completely didn't believe the narrative, because a 30-06 to his neck, going out one side of his neck, out the other, and ricocheting off of his iron bones, it would have left a massive, if it would have gone through the bottom left of his neck, hit his spine, and then gone out the top right of his neck, you would have seen his head slump over to the left as his entire half right side of his head neck was ripped out, because the exit wound of 762 is just massive.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but if I have to explain this to anybody, your spine is not all bone. You know, it's a stack of vertebrae that is connected by cartilage. So even if even if he had bones of steel, his head still would have flown off his fucking body, because that cartilage wouldn't have held on to it. So even their narrative with that is just total nonsense. Your head is held on by your neck and your spine, and your spine is, again, it's a stack of vertebrae with cartilage in between. It's not one solid bone running up and down from your head to your tailbone. So again, even if that was the claim that they're making, that his bones were made of steel, his head still would have popped off his body.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, it's obvious. I don't think anyone's falling for the story. The ballistics of it, the trajectory. I mean, none of it lines up with what the FBI is trying to tell us, and we know we're being lied to. We know there was state involvement in this, and it was. To me, I feel like it's been proven within a couple weeks, and it's crazy how a large majority of MAGA either don't believe it or trust in the FBI narrative, or have made up this own path in their head that trust the plan. He's at Valhalla, waiting for Kash Patel to come see him. It's great. It's crazy. But John, please jump back in there.
Yeah, just I kind of want to tie together what you're saying about this Charlie Kirk thing, and then what the previous speaker, he was saying about the magnitude of what we've had thrown at us over the past 60 years with the media programming and the institutions and all these social justice organizations. I mean, it's just the scale of it is just unprecedented in human history. I mean, this anti-white machine the scale is just staggering. And I've been doing some sort of rough calculations, and I would say that the total amount of money donated to organizations like the NAACP and ACL, BLM, all these kind of social justice organizations, you're looking at over $1 trillion. I mean, this is like a huge industry. And of course, what is the real function of this, right? It's the destruction of Western civilization. So, and General said earlier, the Civil Rights Act, and the Hart-Celler Act, and, all this legislation, it's nothing to do with civil rights. It's just anti-white. It's just white genocide legislation. It's just lipstick on the pig. That's all it is. They just give it a different name so we don't realize. Same with hate speech laws, right? It's nothing to do with hate speech. This is just hate speech laws, nothing more than a cover for the political persecution of white people. That's what hate speech laws are. There's nothing to do with hate speech at all. Because if a non-white attacks a white person, you think they're going to get prosecuted? Of course not. So I guess the way I wanted to sort of tie this into the Charlie Kirk thing is that we've had this 60-year, multi-trillion-dollar white genocide military-industrial complex that's been attacking white identity, Western civilization. And you have Charlie Kirk, who is a symbol, it's a political influencer. He symbolizes America first and the political interests of ethnic Americans. And we're expected to believe that all these machinations, all these industries, all this media programming, all this legislation, this entire monolith has been thrown at us. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk, hey, it was just a little guy with a little gun, pew pew, and he wasn't connected to anything. That was just an isolated thing. And yet, everything we've been dealing with this with for the past 60 years is this integrated, multifaceted machine that's geared for white genocide. But that Charlie Kirk thing, no connection to any of that. That's just a random thing, right? I mean, it just defies logic. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, John, you're way off on your numbers. $1 trillion. If you go to the Heritage Foundation, their website, they have it listed that we had given them $22 trillion by 2014. 22 trillion. Now, 11 years later, going through COVID and all that, it's up to 30 trillion. We've given these people $30 trillion since the 1960s.
And where are you seeing this?
You can go to the Heritage Foundation website, and they have a whole breakdown based on or to account for inflation. And that was inflation numbers in 2014. You know, we all know what the inflation has happened since then. And then you include all the money we threw at these people for COVID and all the other stuff. It's 30 trillion. We've given these people $30 trillion since the 1960s.
And that's our money that we're using to fund their white genocide military industrial complex that's designed to destroy our civilization.
Correct. And remember, the dollar has lost 10% of its value just in the last 8 months alone.
Yeah, and the black community is still, majority of it is asking for reparations, and you have states like California and North Carolina really progressing that move for reparations. It's nation ruining, and it is all by design. I mean, because there's foreign interests, just like our founding fathers warned us about, that are controlling our nation and sending it into its empathetic death. But the Doves...
I did just want to get your response real quick, though. So, I mean, what do you think of the logic that we've been subjected to this vast machine of just like almost kind of incomprehensible proportions, right? And that in the light of that, we're meant to believe that this Charlie Kirk thing was just a contained, isolated incident that's not connected to this monolith that's attacking us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone. I mean, everyone's kind of saying that the Charlie Kirk thing is a monumental, massive thing in our society, and it doesn't look like that's slowing down anytime soon. I mean, there was that assault yesterday on the ICE facility, and it's crazy. The media is still trying to spin that as that anti-white narrative. I mean, but it's obvious to anyone that this is the global homo attacking us. This is the global homo killing us, when we're trying to have free speech. The global homo shooting at our law enforcement, the brainwashed Antifa, purpled hair left, really are the downfall of our society. I mean, and I say it all the time. I mean, I'm not trying to wake up the invaders and say, oh, please stop invading us. I'm trying to wake up my people, those people that have bought into that war levels of propaganda and have become completely brainwashed, to reality and to the fact of what is actually happening in our world. I mean, because even if they are liberal and full of empathy, I still feel like they can be reasoned with. But I mean, I think my main goal is to wake up MAGA that really honestly think that the right is doing something. We have to break this uniparty brainwash that we go back and forth and something is actually being accomplished. If we can use the Trump administration to wake up MAGA to that fact, I mean, that is our country, basically. I mean, they're the working class. They're the American gun owner. I mean, we really could save our nation just by waking up that demographic of our nation. But yeah, Doves, jump in there.
Oh yeah, I was just watching the Snake Eyes movie. The dude gets shot exactly in the same spot as Charlie did. So you guys might want to check that out sometime. But when Trump got shot, I had a theory that maybe he got shot by a drone. Maybe there was like a drone set up somewhere that hit Charlie. No evidence if you use a drone.
Yeah, I kind of watched the Snake Eyes movie also myself. I remember that movie from watching it as a kid. Nicolas Cage, the action star of our time. But that is a crazy coincidence. Because it was assassination that kind of led off the whole movie, and he was a political figure. It's a pretty crazy premise, and I mean, and that's gonna play right into the narrative of all of the QAnon trust the plan people that are thinking that this was a planned, orchestrated event. Which was, but Charlie Kirk's is still alive, and he's sitting in Valhalla, New Zealand, off the coast of New Zealand. So I don't know if that's going to really help in waking up the American people, because I mean, I honestly do think Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was turning against Israel. He was denying the donors. He was really starting to make himself more American. I was looking at older, and scrolling through, because he was posting things about Western civilization. He wasn't saying white people, but I mean, he was posting the same exact videos that showed white the aesthetics of white Western civilization, and Soika down in the comments saying, just say white. I mean, he really was coming around. Charlie Kirk was waking up to they like to call it the woke riot, but I mean, to me, I think it's the American identitarianism. I mean, people that are kind of lining around the ethnic American ideology and what built this nation and who built this nation, and it won't be this nation anymore if those people no longer exist. And I honestly think they killed him for it. I think he went out of line, and they did kill him for it. It was an orchestrated event, and completely fabricated with the patsies and the person they're going to blame. So it looks completely fake. So that plays into their narrative. But to me, we all know why Charlie Kirk was killed.
Yeah, I put it up in the jumbo. And what's interesting, guys, this was my post yesterday. I reposted it, and I just said, remember this when they tell you white people have no culture. And if you go read the comments under that post, you'll see a bunch of the nons all under there saying, you have no culture. You have no culture. Italian culture is Italian culture. It's not German culture. Yeah, but Italians are white. Germans are white. It's still white culture. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they can't distinguish. They want to try to break it down into an ethnic group. When I gave the overarching term white, it includes all white Western nations as white. But they're too retarded to understand that. They want to break it down into, oh no, you're talking about New York culture instead of Texas culture. It's like, yeah, but they're ethnically American. They're all the same group at an overarching level. Like, well, what are you talking about? You want to break it down to like, oh no, you're talking about New York culture. No, it's not New York culture. It's the Bronx. It's the Queens. It's they want to break it down. Even like it's just retarded what they do to try to get away with just denying our existence. And that's what it comes down to. When they deny your culture, they're denying your existence. It's the first stages of a genocide. For people to deny your ethnicity, to deny your culture, to deny your existence, and then they start to genocide you. It's a big problem. I also have a post here, and it's the same thing, what we're talking about here now. You have Austin Metcalf, Irina, and the two other ladies there. They're all killed by black people. And it's simple, guys. Civil rights are simply a license for black to kill whites. It's that simple. That's the narrative going forward. We're tired of this bullshit and the civil rights. It's time to push back and just tell them, look, you gave these people a license to kill white people, and you used the DOJ to get away with it through the CRS and the other apparatuses all the way down to the local police stations. Harmeet Dillon exposed that on Tucker Carlson, that they've been controlling all the precincts, even the local judicial systems, to get all these people off. And that's why all these people are walking with 15 priors. And everyone's like, get the judge, get the judge. No, get the mother effer sitting up at the DOJ who's allowing that to happen. Whoever was at the head of the DOJ, they were the ones directing these people to do it. Like, go all the way to the top. Why aren't they doing that? Because they don't want to take responsibility. Trump doesn't want to take responsibility. He's trying to cover it up, because once people realize how corrupt the DOJ actually is, they'll start demanding that the DOJ get swallowed up and spit out the other side. Because at the end of the day, it has been the DOJ CRS division that has been, it was established in 1964, right in the heart of the civil rights movement. And it was designed to help sell integration and civil rights onto society. So whenever a black person would commit a racial crime against white people, the CRS would show up, and they would manipulate the entire story. They'd manipulate the news. They'd manipulate the actual case itself. They'd get the guy off with a slap on the wrist, the whole 9 yards. And they were in everything. They were in the FBI. They were in your local news media. They were in your local jurisdictions for legal. They were going into local precincts for the police, making demands on them about who they could and couldn't arrest and how many times. They were the ones behind manipulating all the statistics. So they did all this. It's the DOJ who's behind all of it. It's the biggest propaganda wing our country's ever seen, by far. The largest propaganda machine. Like, you think Project Mockingbird is bad? This dwarfs Project Mockingbird. And these people have offices all over the entire nation. Project Mockingbird didn't. They only dealt with the media. They didn't deal with the FBI. They didn't deal with your local judges. They didn't deal with the police at a local level even. The DOJ is way, way worse. It's the biggest weaponized tool against the American people to commit mass tyranny that's ever existed in the United States of America. It needs to be called out. But yeah, go ahead, Rush, jump in there.
You know, I was just reading how that guy John God or whatever. I thought he killed an ICE officer. It turns out he killed a detainee. So there's a liberal Antifa trying to I guess fight for the immigrants, goes and shoots an immigrant. You can't make this stuff up. It's hilarious. But I don't know if I'm getting a glitch and not seeing hands, but I don't see any hands. Case, you haven't had the opportunity to speak, and if you want to jump in there, buddy.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. General, thanks for enlightening me on that. The CRF, I'd never heard of that. And like the way you describe it is like a perfect nightmare. Dissolve freedom of association, force proximity, and then when disaster happens, lie about it and repeat. Like, it's disgusting. It doesn't get much worse than that. Earlier, we were talking about that meme, the per capita meme, sorry. And the things that are funny about memes is they're partly true. So I did a little bit of searching. The IQ required to understand per capita is 85. And black people in America have an average IQ of 70. So, like, they actually can't understand it. They think we're lying to them, I'm sure. It sounds, I'm sure to them it sounds insane. And that's all I really had. That CRF thing's really blowing my mind, though.
I think it's actually CRS, Community Resource. I don't know that stands. They were an organization that started in 1957, and it was completely to push propaganda on the American people. And anytime there's any racial related event in regards to a black person killing a white person, they go out and they have local offices that will actually go out and speak with the families and try to calm the situation. So I mean, it is it was used for 60 years here in America, as a fully funded extension of the Department of Justice. But then Trump earlier this year supposedly has an internal letter where that office was shut down, but its duties were absorbed by the Department of Justice. So the assumption is that it still is operating, but just within the DOJ Civil Rights Division. But I mean, it's a group of very powerful lawyers that are still operating within the government, and we have seen events where it does seem like they still are going out there and curtailing. Although that DC mother, like I said. She was being very vocal. Her son was a staffer. I apologize, guys. I forgot his name. Jaworski was his last name or something. But he was a DC staffer, and he was shot in Washington D.C. During the Trump cleanup. I mean, the cleanup of DC. And they found two of his murderers, black males, and they're still searching for the third murderer. They still haven't found that guy. But his mother's being very vocal about it, and pointing that this is coming from one specific demographic. When you have a demographic in the nation that commits murder 1,400% above their per capita rate, that demographic is going to show up in a lot of murders, and we all know 3 times as many interracial murders. And really, if you look at European wise, it's much more than that. It's like 19 times more. But they lump us in with Hispanics, and there is gang violence between Hispanics and blacks that does
The
result
guy
in
who
those
killed
numbers.
Jamie White from InfoWars, he was a black guy.
And they reported him as a Hispanic.
Yeah, that was a group of Hispanics, but the guy who killed him was black.
Yeah. I mean, it comes out all the time like that. I mean, it's just statistics. If you look at 25 years of FBI crime data that you can go look on FBI's website right now. And then you can look at the other historic data. I mean, Generals presented data from 1965 that completely aligns with the data that we have today. And that is with even skewing the numbers. Like we said, they lump, every demographic into the demographic of white, making up, 78% of the population. And even then, they can't commit as much murder. And they don't even come close in overall violent crime, like robberies and assault and everything else. It's like 78% of the country commits 41% of the violent crime. It's pretty crazy. But let me be frank, jump back in.
John.
Or 79%. Oh, I'm sorry.
His hands up for a while.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no worries. All good. General asked earlier, has anyone sort of seen anything in the past 24 hours? There's a new video that come online of Hillary Clinton being interviewed by MSNBC. I think the interview is very new. It's certainly post Charlie Kirk. It might only be a day old or so, but do you mind if I play 20 seconds of the interview so she can hear what she's saying in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk? All right, I guess that's okay. I'm just going to play 20 seconds. Yeah, to Hillary Clinton.
So I think that's what makes us so special as a country. And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, is just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And
I mean, can you believe this machine, this white genocide machine? Like Charlie Kirk.
Well, let's not forget that she called us all deplorables, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's certainly true. I mean, Charlie Kirk got shot, like a week and a half ago. And Hillary Clinton goes on MSNBC, and her response to that is to say that everything that's wrong with the country, and then she just profiles Charlie Kirk. They're just relentless. I mean, the propaganda, and this isn't like a Democrat thing or liberal or whatever. I mean, she's literally, this is full on like Marxist, communist. She's saying like, let's just say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology. Yeah, what straight white men who are Christians believe in capitalism and have conservative values and believe in the family. And she's literally sitting there after the guy got shot and assassinated, and she's literally saying that's everything that's wrong with the country. These people are demonic.
Yeah, Frank, go ahead, jump in there.
Yeah, I concur. Nothing else could explain it. But I had a question for anyone in the room. I've been trying to come up with sources that are somewhat uncensored and objective as far as like facts and figures related to like Bolshevik Revolution, the Armenian genocide, and I'm having a hard time. Even AI, of course, is persuaded a certain way. Do you guys have any resources, or name off a couple websites or something?
You can inbox me, Frank. I'm pretty good on the Bolshevik revolution. Don't know much about Armenian, but just inbox me on the Russian Revolution, and I'll help you with however I can.
He wants resources, guy.
Overwatch, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody. How's things going? I've been kicking back, listening a little bit. The white genocide machine is quite a thing. I mean, it's almost complete, victory in some ways. I posted a little bit yesterday in our chat about that Virgil guy. He's got some good points. He's supposed to be running against Cornyn here in Texas. He's an older guy. Looks like ex-Navy or something based on his pick. But I pushed out some of his good points, but I hit Harmeet Dillon up for her supporting those Indian doctor things in North Carolina, and he saw that post and he blocked me because his pet, he doesn't agree with people criticizing one of his pets, just like that old boomer that came in the other day. But this guy's going to take over, unseat John Cornyn and save Texas. And he can't even call out Harmeet Dillon for wanting to flood us with Indian doctors, but he's going to save us. This is what we're dealing with. And he didn't even retort or come back or say, what are you talking about, or just you're blocked, just like Harmeet does his pet, and it's disgusting. So I posted out and said we need some younger people, and I'm Gen X, but we need some younger people. Millennials or Z that are woke, and I think there's a lot of them, and we've got to get these old, and I'm saying that as an older person, that we need some young blood in there, but we need some young blood that's not lip-hearted, and Texas needs Vlad the Impaler in Austin. We need somebody, because we are infested with these liberals. And if they're not liberal, they're these white, go along to get along, old boomer Republicans, old rhinos, old money, old oil money, BS, and or Texas is cooked. I'll land it.
Yeah, Overwatch. That's why we need term limits also. But that's the problem though. Is money is so heavily involved in our politics that it's really only the older class that's able to establish those money and connections is able to even compete. I saw another story yesterday. I wanted to ask you about Overwatch. I guess Texas Instruments is being called out for their overuse of H-1Bs, along with massive layoffs and completely replacing their workforce with H-1Bs. I know the last time I was there, which was a few years ago, quite a few years ago, I saw a lot of Indians at Texas Instruments. But it does look like people are starting to call this stuff out now, and people are still pushing against H-1Bs. I mean, DeSantis has continued to call it out, as well as we're getting the story on Texas Instruments. It doesn't look like this cat's going back in the bag, even though we got Donald Trump's 1 year a bill that gives a 3-month leeway where they can just pull up the end of the year. I mean, it was a completely worthless bill. So I mean, to me, I think it'll be good to actually get something. We need something else. We need something more. We need to put a moratorium on all immigration, but especially the people who are coming over here and taking our jobs. When we have millions of people out of the workforce, over 120,000 people out of the workforce in the tech field. I mean, but that doesn't even count the people underemployed or trying to get into the job market. I mean, it's something that has to be fixed. But to me, it was. I don't know if you saw that story, but to me, it was encouraging to see Texas Instruments get called out.
Yeah, they're just doing like every other corporation. I worked there before the Indian invasion, but they still probably had a lot of H-1Bs going on back then, now that I think about it. But it wasn't so blatant. But I noticed they list all their financials and stuff, and they list their U.S. forget how many millions or billions it was, but you know, there's a lot of military contracts going on out there. I mean, it's no secret what North Building is. So they have a building called North Building. That's what they call it. It's in the campus. You know, there's DMOS 5, DMOS 6, all the different fabs, and but then there's North Building. Well, if you think North Building, think Raytheon, think military contracts. You know, and I won't go any further than that. What they possibly make there. But and that's pretty common probably with other, you know, Motorola and other fabs too. So, you know, they're getting that government cheese in there too. You know, but we need that stuff. But yeah, they need laws because, you know, we're just to a point where it's capitalism over morals, over everything. It's profit over everything. Profit over sell your country out. Profit, you know. And the problem is, if Texas Instruments gets moral and doesn't do it, Motorola's going to do it, Intel's going to do it, you know, the other fabs are going to do it. So you have to have a law in place to say none of these companies can do this, you know, or Texas Instruments will go under because the other people are cheating, you know. So that's why you need the law. You just don't want to put laws in place to destroy or stop a competition, but you can't. It can't be profit over, you know, selling out the soul of the country. That's what needs to be done. They need to stop them across the board, all corporations from doing this BS, and force them to compete. Absolutely, but within the United States.
Well, Trump needs to do the same thing that he did with DEI, right? Anyone who has a government contract with the United States government who's taking tax dollars cannot hire any H-1B or any foreigner, period. Not a single one. And that's where we need to be at. Like, if you're going to use our tax dollars to replace us, then go fuck yourself. And Trump is allowing for that to happen. He's helping to fund these companies with our tax dollars. It's the same thing with, so I always use the hotel industry as an example, because they made hundreds of millions, billions of dollars even helping to invade our country. And we gave them the money to buy the properties, to buy the hotels through small business loans for minorities and minority grants. These are foreigners who used our tax dollars to purchase our businesses. And then they turned around and housed all these illegals coming into the country, making billions of dollars. The Roosevelt Hotel in New York alone made $840 million, just one hotel, invading the U.S. And then Trump turns around and says, well, we're going to give them a free pass on hiring illegals. Like, wait, what? You just gave these guys billions of dollars. I mean, you're talking over $100 billion went to these hotels, and now you're going to give them a free pass to keep human trafficking and hiring illegals? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, Trump has no soul. His whole legacy is trash if he doesn't fix this shit and fix it now. You know, saying this nonsense is absolutely vile, considering 60% of our hotels are owned by Indians, up to 90% if you only look at rural areas. So yeah, this is a huge problem, and he allowed them to use our tax dollars to flood our country, house all the illegals, which is treason, by the way. That's literally the definition of treason. Offering someone aid and comfort within the United States who is invading. So yeah, this is a huge problem, and Trump gave him a free pass. That will never be forgotten, by the way. I will repeat that on this show every single day until eternity to make sure that Trump's actions on this will never be forgotten. It is absolutely unacceptable. He sold us out on that front. And now he's giving us like this little Band-Aid that doesn't mean jack squat for them to invade our country. Oh, we're going to keep bringing H-1Bs, but we need the good ones. Yeah, H-1B's not for that. The O-1B, visa is for high-end talent, not H-1B. So he can do away with H-1B completely, but he's not doing it because he has these guys' special interests on his ass about it. Well, we don't care. This is America. You're going to hire Americans. And any company or university or any entity that takes money from the U.S. government, which is our tax dollars, any of them funded, they need to lose everything if they're hiring H-1Bs. 0 government contracts, period. Or if they outsource to a foreign country, 0 government contracts, which are pretty much all of them. That would save us a shitload of money right there. And all those companies would fall in line real quick. But he won't do it because he doesn't have a nutsack on him. He's not killery. He's soft, pudgy. Like, what's the Michelin Man? That's kind of what he is. Like the happy-go-lucky, fat son of a bitch Michelin Man running around. That's what he is. He doesn't have the backbone to actually stand up and do what's right for America.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, there, you can use that one too. But yeah, I mean, it's just the same damn thing. We're sick of it. Either fix this shit because it's all retarded, or get out of the way and let somebody else get in there that will fix it. Because what's coming next isn't going to be nice. I'll tell you that. People are pissed. The left are going out with their guns. They're opening fire, and you're not doing anything about it. The militias are going to step up and take care of business. We're not going to have our people gunned down in the streets because Trump's Michelin ass is too damn flabby to actually lay down the hammer on these people. We're tired of it. Now, a couple other things in the news. The Italian Ministry of Defense announces it's going to send a second Navy ship to accompany the aid fleet headed to Gaza. And Italy already stated that if Netanyahu lands in Italy, they will arrest his ass on the spot. Secondly, Twiddle, do you want to cover this? You put it in the back chat.
The Italian, the Italians doing their
No, the Nordic.
Oh yeah, all the Nordic countries officially recognizing Palestine. This comes as the thing where you had the one lady at the UN with her majority vote cast a no when they did bring it up at the UN. Completely like not letting them Palestine become part of the UN, and then there's even more backlash from that. Now people are and other countries are calling for it. Heck, China's calling for it.
Well, more than that, the post you have in here says all 5 Nordic countries announce the arrest of Netanyahu if he enters any of their airspace or land.
This comes on the like he just flew. He's on his way here right now, and he avoided French airspace entirely. He basically did an L, like a straight beeline towards the west from Tel Aviv through the Mediterranean, avoided all French airspace.
Yep.
So I mean,
now you have the Spanish. The Spanish are also demanding that Palestine become part of the UN, and then you have Trump right now putting up riot fences around the White House. He's fortifying the White House. Why? Because Netanyahu's showing up. So he's fortifying the White House for Netanyahu to show up. When all the other world leaders show up, they come in there, they roll the red carpet out, they come in, they take pictures, they're all happy. When Netanyahu comes, we have to shut down the whole damn place, build walls around the White House, because the whole fucking world hates this guy. And nobody supports him, not even in America. Why are you building up riot fences? Why is the guy even in our country? I mean, Italy says they'll arrest him. China, all the Nordic countries, Poland, Hungary. Like, there's a ton of France. All these countries are now saying that they will arrest this man if he steps foot on any of their land. He's done. And it's growing by the day. There's more and more countries adding to that every single day. He's not going to be able to get away. He's doing huge amounts of damage to the Jews right now. Israel is so fucked because of this guy. And they are of the mindset of, we can do whatever we want and no one's ever going to touch us. It's total insanity. These people are so cucked because we've protected them with our military for so long that they just assume they're going to be okay. But Israel is dragging our name through the mud while they're doing all this bullshit. And that's the problem. Everyone's looking at us like we're the evil people genociding little kids in Gaza when we're not. It's Netanyahu and the Jews doing it. But because we won't cut them off,
did we lose General? These spaces on?
Yeah. I mean, but it's weird how quickly the world sentiment is turning against them. Countries that I never thought would turn against them have, and then putting out an arrest warrant is a huge deal. It's pretty white pillin', but at the same time, I feel it's curious to what's going on. I wasn't speaking over everyone. I was like, Twitter, I don't know if you want to respond, and then
yeah, I mean, it's not just the Bibi thing. I've seen a buildup of Egypt's military on the border of the Sinai. So there's a lot of things in motion right now. Not to mention, all the Q people think that like Trump's gonna arrest Netanyahu when he comes this time. It's laughable, but Trump also, he was calling out the International Criminal Court to stop them investigating Bibi. Like again, this is like the third time I think he's come out and said something to them about it, calling for the charges or the investigation to basically be quashed. And just him coming here is this damage control, in my opinion. Not only did he come out and speak on the Charlie Kirk thing numerous times, but he was almost angry at the fact that people thought that Israel was involved with this, and it's just funny because when the Charlie Kirk thing was happening, there was still massive amounts of ordnance and things being dropped on Gaza at the very same time, and then he Bibi comes out and is tweeting at the exact same time as Trump about Charlie. So everything's fishy to me. I'm just following along, trying to make sense of it all.
yeah, he bombed Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and Qatar, all at the same time, and had the time to tweet. But the statistic that I heard the other day that was pretty alarming is he's broken a record. The most visits of any world leader to the White House in this amount of time. This is unprecedented, the amount of times that he visited the White House and come to the United States and visited the White House.
Yeah, he's got to come give out the fucking marching orders.
Trump is continuing to completely bow down to the instrument that this is more than the support of evangelical Christians. Trump is beholden to Israel for one reason or another. And I don't see that going away anytime soon. But I only see one hand up right now. But as I go back to your Overwatch, the way they're able to get H-1Bs working a Texas Instrument and still have their private military contracts is through that fab allocation, like you're saying. The North Fab, everyone that has an ID card that can scan into there, I mean, they're all ethnic Americans. When all the other DMOS fabs and the other fabs at that facility, you'd be lucky to find an ethnic American these days, because they've completely replaced the workforce. So, I mean, I agree with this assertion. I mean, if you're going to be a U.S. government contractor, you should have to follow all the, badging requirement and citizenship requirement. I forget the acronym for it. The military loves their acronyms, to enter that area. So you have to proof of citizenship in order to, even go on to that facility.